A word for our listeners. Masks of Nyarlathotep is set in the 1920s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Join us each week as our investigators follow a path of clues and attempt to save the world from an ancient evil. Starring John Quiett, Jestin Kimmet, Shirley Niedzwiecki, George Chimples, Jason Hall, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep.
Very nice.
I'm here with Shirley.
Hello.
Jason.
You never say my name first.
Scott.
I'll make every time.
George.
That's me.
Johnny.
Hello.
Hi.
Jestin.
Howdy.
I'm Matt, and we're also here with Johnny Walker. Is that black?
Double black.
Double black. Which is why Johnny is a little off.
A little
And also here with Shirley, because I said her first and last this time.
Hello.
Is Shirley here?
To remind everybody where we were last time, Mr. Botticello has left this living world through an attack of deep ones.
Botticello.
Yeah, to Botticello.
The Protestants are now safe.
Oh,
I don't like whiskey at all. I'm gonna finish it.
oh.
That's in reverence of George's grandmother, and without her, he wouldn't be here. So we're gonna keep drinking that.
But it's better than, say, spiced rum with
What?
with Worcestershire sauce in it, isn't it?
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
So we are currently on a boat still. Where would the people that are alive at the table, sorry Jesse, like to start?
Should we have a funeral?
So, yes, one, we're going to have a funeral. Two, I'm going to walk up and just kill.
No, hold on.
Wait. Did I hear what I just thought I heard?
Why Wentworth?
If I remember correctly, it ended with, hold on. The game ended last time with Botticello is dead. There was a quick search of some rooms, and that was it.
Yes.
So it's still the same night. The captain also, I believe, is dead.
I thought we'd
In
gone
the
through
hallway.
several hours.
No.
Not afterwards.
We're
I've been
in
with the
hallway.
body. Okay.
No, we had discussed that. That's
No,
just
yeah,
what we're
I
going to
had
do.
This is the way the games go with booze. We can get booze in more games.
Yeah, because I helped you. No, we did. Because I helped him into
I
the
have to do medical
room.
for myself, and then probably
It had not been several hours. It might have been 10, 15 minutes.
No, really?
Yeah, we had not gone very
I
far.
remember-
Oh, that was the girl.
Well, then I've got Botticello's. I'm
You're with Botticello's
shut
body.
in a room with Botticello's body doing stuff. Door closed. I'm still
wait,
like
what?
half
Why
gored
are you door closed?
because I haven't put on any clothes yet.
Do you not remember?
Yeah, because we slept through the entire melee.
Oh my god.
And gunshots.
Sorry.
4 shotguns went off outside of his door. Someone was slamming on it and screaming.
Oh god.
There's a reason for that. Anyways, but where's everybody else? And he slept like a log.
Oh wait, that's where everybody else is.
Everybody's awake now.
So,
Sort of.
Miss McCrea, Professor Wentworth, Captain Wilkerson, and Mr. Byrne, what are you guys doing?
First aid
On
me.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
If there are still 2 bodies of the snake-like
Creatures?
Yeah.
They're not
creatures.
snake-like. They are
Reptilian.
amphibianous.
Oh, amphibious. Yeah.
Amphibious.
Amphibious.
Is it okay?
Reptilian and snake-like.
Is it okay to
the
call them-
space saga?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll call them deep ones.
Yes, these are in fact deep ones.
There we go.
Wait, do
and
you
in fact,
know
let's
that they're
have it.
deep ones?
Hold on.
Out of character,
Guys.
not metagaming.
Oh, okay.
focus real quick. Everybody that has Cthulhu can roll that now.
No,
What do you
Mr.
roll
Byrne.
for?
Everyone living
Oh,
that has
oh,
Cthulhu can roll that now.
Matt, what do you roll for hit points back on the first aid?
A D3.
Byrne does not touch the dice
Doesn't touch the dice.
because I don't have any mythos.
You don't?
I have-
You read a
I
book.
thought you had
Yeah.
those.
Oh, I do have 10.
So how can you
stumble
yeah,
along this
you
far
got it
without
all
firing
in one
something?
book.
Yeah, I thought I was safe still.
So you need to mark that.
What?
That is way too high for you. We need to do something about that.
Oh, you need to be quiet. Leave my sanity alone.
I erased the 99, but I forgot to write the
So did anybody get that?
I don't believe so.
No crazy pants?
78 out of 10.
No.
Okay. So what exactly are you guys doing?
So I'm doing medical stuff to myself.
Okay. Captain Wilkerson, Mr. McCrea, Mr. Byrne.
Is looking at the bodies of the creatures that disturbing?
Not well. I mean,
Not anymore.
yes, but it won't cause you any more sanity loss. You've already been affected. It's too late.
Okay. Before they get tossed overboard, I want
Well, no.
They're not
I
being
said I
tossed
wanted to
overboard.
keep one.
He's probably going to keep the one least peppered with bullets.
Yeah.
And burn
to.
the rest.
I don't know this yet, so I'm going to examine the creatures and try to get a better idea of what it is.
Yeah, because I wanted to figure out what
Give
their
me.
anatomy was.
I know you probably don't have it, but give me a biology roll. I know it's a 1%, but you could just ace
I
this.
could. I don't.
What'd you get?
51.
That's not terrible. So you kind of poke at the body and look at it a little bit. I'm assuming you're not going to get like arm deep in it or anything.
Oh no, I'm doing the forensic. If I have a pencil, I'll use that.
The
to move
skin
things.
is thick. See, probably for you, what you've been told, like what an elephant would have, maybe.
Okay.
Only it's got like a slick sheen to it.
Mucus.
No, it looks like it's just watery, like still.
Okay.
It's not drying out like normal stuff would. Kind of like a fish without scales.
So mucus.
Fish have mucus?
They make mucus.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Specifically what I would look for is combat effectiveness. Is there a place that they specifically don't have armor?
Eyes. I mean, like it's anywhere that there is skin on a normal human, there is some sort of thick,
Thick
almost
scale.
armory. There's no scales on them though.
Oh,
It's just like thick, like
leather.
leathery. Yeah, a wet leather. So they have extra teeth, more than you would expect.
Like sharks' rows of teeth.
They have a second row of teeth, but they're not all like sharp and pointy. They're like a human's teeth, only two rows. Yeah, two sets of that. Yeah.
Animalistic human teeth.
Their eyes are large, very much like a fish. Kind of bulbous, more frog-like than fish-like, I guess, in that instance.
Are they? It's been a long time since I was drawing an official deep one.
Yeah.
Are they front and center like humans, or are they on like the side of the head?
They're front, but like side as well. They're
so
bigger.
3/4.
Yeah. They're not full side, but they're like
Almost like a chameleon.
yes. Yeah.
And then they can see side.
George, I
and
don't
front.
like the illustration in the book. I mean, it works, but it's just not what I always envisioned.
Sure,
So,
no problem.
but I appreciate it. So they also notice that their hands and feet are webbed. They're not wearing any. They're wearing like loincloths, and that's it. They're all carrying spears of some sort, and like on the loincloth they have a small knife, probably just for utility use.
Metal or bone?
The knife is bone. The spear has some sort of metal or stone on it that you're not familiar with. And then
I'm sorry, I just keep envisioning a murloc. Is that
it's
right?
kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, and not with the
Mohawk
frill, the frill, yeah, crest. There was one last thing I wanted to impact. Oh, one of them had large, like, claw snake hand things. Those are disappearing and, like, shriveling back.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I was very keen on that.
Demutating?
Yes.
Okay.
You have a cult at all?
No.
Okay. You'd have to guess that it's some
But-
sort of spell.
Rather than falling off like a device that it was holding, they are more
Right. Yeah.
turning back into
Yeah.
its quote unquote normal hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost like that werewolf effect in reverse.
Okay.
So,
That's it.
since your character kind of know a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Trying to think of anything. They are large. They're broad shoulders. These are broad shouldered. Kind of rippled with muscle.
How many were there? Total?
5 or 6.
Yeah, so
I wanna say
killed
5.
one, then I killed one in the stairwell, then we came back up here, and there were multiple.
There were 3 on deck, so 5 total.
Oh, there were 2, and then one came out of the door, I think.
5 total, I'm pretty sure. You know what? Not that big of a deal. Well,
we killed him dead.
there were a number, and then that number kind of doubled after a little while after being shot in half. So you're kind of you spend your time doing that while.
Is there anything? I get last question. Is there anything specifically about the spears that is off-putting to me? Like, do I get a feeling or
Without knowing what that metal is, you don't know what it could be connected to.
This is pre-World War II, so I'm not really worried about radiation. It's just
No, that's true. Although radiation is known, it's probably not known
not
to you.
my circle.
I wouldn't even be worried about that, but you knowing occult stuff as much as you don't, that's weird metal. Weird metal means occult. I mean,
Well,
that's what you've picked up on so far.
Then
So
the very last thing is I want to make sure we save one of those, and I want to test it against other things just to see if it's any stronger.
okay,
Right?
yeah.
You know, unless somebody later objects to it, I'm considering keeping it as a tool against them, because if they're carrying it, it probably means it's effective against stabbing them.
Well, we can test it out.
That's what
I'm going to keep one of the bodies.
That's what I want is to test out the metal to see if it's strong enough against them.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Byrne, you spend your time looking at the body. Miss McCrea and Captain Wilkerson, what are you guys doing?
I want to get with the captain, if at all possible.
Captain's dead.
Captain's dead.
You can get with the first mate.
First mate.
He's down there.
Okay. I want to organize a sweep of the ship to make sure there aren't more of these things.
Absolutely.
Pairs of nobody goes alone.
I remember something about Kid, and we found a diagram in the back room.
Yeah.
There was
The summoning circle.
suspect. Yeah, we suspected that one of the dead crewmen may have actually been assisting these things.
No, it was not a dead crewman. It was a stowaway.
Yeah.
Stowaway.
Right, stowaway.
And it was
Stowaway,
killed by these things. That stowaway was killed by these creatures.
So we need to know what that's
All right.
about.
So, does anybody need first aid? No.
Well, hold on. Because you take time to
Yeah.
clean
Like
yourself
he's doing
up.
all that, doing all this.
So, Captain, you're going to talk with the first aid mate and kind of get that all set up. Miss McCrea, what are you doing?
And we're going to hook up a funeral pyre to burn whatever the hell these lizard things are.
And Mr. Botticello? Is that
Well, no, we're not going to burn him.
Okay.
Well,
We can totally do it by
we'll
computer.
huddle up on whether we're going to burn Botticello
Okay.
or not. So, I can't remember. How did he die?
He was clawed to death.
Yeah, but he's Catholic. And you don't burn Catholics.
Yeah, but he was clawed by evil, horrible, lizardy things.
We'll have a discussion on this in
If
character.
that's contagious, we're going to burn that.
Okay, so Miss McCrea.
That's what I want.
$5. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Miss McCrea, what are you doing?
Sorry, that just got me off guard.
Well, then do I at least get to say it
No,
instead of just mumbling it?
No, mumbling is saying.
Okay.
I am going to try to coax Mr. Weld into letting me in the room with Botticello.
Okay, I will. When I first awoke, because this is to refresh your memory. When everything was over, I came out. I was naked, and people could see some tattoos on my torso and upper thighs and upper arms where you would normally see in my skin. But there's some tattooing that was going on. I was totally butt naked, so I picked up the body, dragged it into the room, and shut the door. So if you're knocking on the door now,
Yes.
you'd be like, "Wait a minute," and then I'll come out and I'm dressed.
There will be
In
some
white
white silk
silks.
fabric. Yeah.
Yeah, but I dressed
Okay.
myself. So.
Okay, so then I would be spending time with, well,
Okay. You're going to meditate over the body, I assume?
What I first am going to do is wash the body and try to basically sew up, because he got clawed to death or some sort of thing.
We're going to follow your corpse in a ritual.
Basically, sew up the wounds as best I can, which I've got no crafting for, but I'm not trying to.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
and
It's
I'll
okay.
help
medicine?
him do that.
Okay, and then while you're kind of assisting, at one point I start burning a little bit of incense and kind of smudge some ash onto it'd be sandalwood, on his forehead. And you notice some chanting in a language that I assume that you would not know.
What
and I will
kind?
ask you
Yeah,
what
what's that?
everything means.
What's that? What are you saying?
Here's where I come back to the zombie. Hey,
Okay, so what?
At least you're back with
Hey,
Sorry.
what symbol are you smudging onto his forehead?
Actually just a cross.
Cross. Okay. Do you have first aid?
Not of a base, I don't think.
Okay. Give me a first aid roll.
Missed it by 9.
That's okay. The stitches aren't perfect.
Yeah.
But they're, you're not looking for perfect either. So.
Right.
You guys.
Also, as soon as he's washed and sewn up, then I start wrapping him in a sheet tightly and kind of also binding the hands and feet. So he's.
Are you turning him into a mummy?
I'm preparing him for burial.
Okay.
So how long you would think that would take? Like half hour, 45 minutes, or longer?
An hour.
An hour. Okay. So about the same time so the two of you kind of disappear. Captain Wilkerson, Professor Wentworth, and Miss Byrne, you guys all kind of finish up at the same time. You're done poking at the dead body. You're done kind of tying yourself off and not bleeding to death. And you've organized people. Captain, are you planning on going with them? They all seem armed now. They found weapons quickly. So, and actually the first mate says that he's sending them around in threes.
Good.
Twos isn't enough.
Right.
So.
And I'm going to check back in with my group. I'm going to say, okay, the first mate's got an organized plan, check back regularly. I'll check back with you, but I need to go talk to the people that I was on with.
So, you notice Mr. Byrne has kind of just finished up looking like he's doing what you would expect an investigator to do, looking at the body and kind of noting things. And Professor Wentworth is bandaged. So,
I'm gonna check them both for any signs of damage.
I honestly don't know. Have you been hurt?
No.
Have you been hurt? Nope. Yeah. See how people with guns don't get hit?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm pretty sure I wrestled with one for a little bit, but I was not injured.
So,
Corporal, did you find anything out of the ordinary beyond what might be considered odd for lizard and frog type people?
No.
Nothing weird, nothing you can't
Well,
identify?
this one's arm is changing, reverting, I assume, back to, compare it to the others. It was bigger and weirder. Now it's turning into.
It's actually, you can still see the transformation. It's a very slow transfer back. It's looking at you. There are two bodies here in this hall. Looking at the other body, it's almost the same size as that hand now, but it's still like shrinking. The fingers were elongated.
I have no doubt he looked at it and noticed it at least.
Yeah, but it is now slowly changing. It's still changing back. You can still see that change happening, or reversing, I guess.
Which one? I mean, it doesn't matter which one looks less beat up and tore up.
You'll grab one of the five. I honestly don't remember.
Does the spear have a long enough blade that it might be used like a machete?
No. It's probably
because the hand that's reverting, I want to cut that off.
And
see if it
Do
reverts.
you have your combat knife?
I've got my trench knife.
Yeah, that would be better. This is maybe 8 inches.
Because I want to go shunk.
7 inches.
I actually have a silver machete.
So you pull out your trench knife and you chop down on it and have to chop again. The skin slowed your swing, and the bone seems a little harder than what you would expect.
All right, well, I'll just flip the knife over and saw it off.
Okay, yeah. It comes off after that second into it.
Oh.
It does continue to revert.
Okay. So, but the rest of the body doesn't change.
No.
It's not like this thing's still alive.
It leaks.
Get up.
It leaks some oozy red stuff, which you assume is blood of some sort.
But it's not like
No.
Oh, my arm. Oh, okay. All right. Just checking. A little paranoid right now.
Hey guys, quick cut my arm.
Just stop that, please.
Can you quit that? If you would, Captain, set one aside for me. I'd like to run some spreadings later on the bottom.
Okay, then I'm going to run over whichever one's the least damaged.
Okay.
And drag that over to the side. Do I note the odd metal on the spears?
Oh yeah.
Do I know what it is?
Nope.
What are
Geology, which would probably fall under natural science.
There is a geology skill.
Oh, geology then.
skill. Natural history or occult wouldn't help me?
You can roll all of those. Just tell me what you're rolling first. And
Natural history.
Okay.
Well, that sucks.
Okay.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I hit an occult?
Yeah, go ahead.
00 is
No.
bad. Yeah.
The opposite of good.
I made both natural history and occult.
They are. You could probably work this metal a little bit and probably use it for some sort of cult thing. It seems like a rare enough metal that it's probably usable for something. You don't know what, but it also doesn't register with you what it is.
Right, but I can still test it on the hardness chart.
Yeah. Definitely, you could do that.
Fingernail, rod. Steinman.
Yeah. But that might take you might need actually specialized tools you won't probably have on the ship to do the higher
When
end.
we get to Egypt, I can be like, hey, give me the kit.
Yeah. At the higher end, definitely you'll need something. But it's hard enough that you'd have to guess it's at least steel strength.
Wait, that was gonna be like my immediate test. Like, will it push through the wall?
Yeah, like it doesn't chip off. You can like tap it, and it doesn't like obsidian doesn't like split off. Flake, that's the word.
Will it cut through the hull? Oh, whoa, that's bad. Okay.
So
we need to pick all those up.
You guys kind of organize the bodies then, I assume, going up to the other deck where the other 2.5 are, because one's between decks.
Right.
So you guys are gonna pile the 4 up on the
Yeah, because I thought there were 4 downstairs and 3 when we came back up to Wells.
Well, no, there's 2 down here.
There's 2 down here, 2 upstairs, and 1 in the stairwell.
And that's right. That's
like
where
the
this
one
guy-
in the stairwell.
So you guys grab 4 of the bodies. The first mate gives you an extra room to kind of work on that last body.
No.
Didn't really think you wanted it in your room.
No.
It's probably
I'm gonna have the captain expertly string it up by the ankles.
It's probably a storage area. So not a ton of room, but enough.
Good for you to put him on some meat.
So you 3 end up like helping move bodies and kind of you collect all of the spears and knives. I assume you want the bone knives as well.
Yeah, I mean at first, but if they're
So there's
just
5 spears and they're all about like a dagger head inside.
Yeah, like a small knife.
Palm size, hand
Yeah,
size.
it wouldn't be quite that big, that wide. It might
But
be
I mean,
that long.
long.
Yeah, that long, but not
I'm
quite
assuming
that wide.
about 2 inches, maybe.
2 fingers.
Yeah, maybe 2.5 fingers.
Alright.
So
More than 2 fingers. So
Give me 3 fingers, Johnny.
yeah, there you go.
So you guys take the time, you get the bodies up. There's the first mate directs you to where, I guess the captain now, the new captain, directs you on where to set them, because he's all about burning them as well. Whatever they are, he doesn't want them on his boat, and he doesn't think throwing them in the water seems like a good idea. You guys do spend some time, or the groups that are searching the ship start coming back slowly, explaining they found where these things came, or where they think these things came on. Looks like there's some poorly, weirdly made rope attached to the side of the boat.
Probably seaweed.
Yeah. They don't know. Well, there's seaweed in it, but yeah, they don't know.
Kelp, seaweed, all that kind of crap.
Whale hair.
Yeah, whale hair.
Nice.
Whale hair.
Whales have
Is
hair?
that like
They do have hair.
It's made out of whale teeth. The blue whale that have the
Baleen.
yeah.
Really? So is there like a whale version of Rapunzel, like this really long hair? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you guys spend that. You guys probably spend the next 45 minutes doing all of that. And just as you're like getting kind of exhausted, because this was kind of middle of the night, and you're kind of finishing up, and that's when the exhaustion kind of sets in. You know how that goes. That's when the door opens to Mr. Weld's room, and he and Miss McCrea kind of exit and quietly shut the door behind you. I assume leaving the body to just be.
Something's gonna happen.
Okay, go ahead then. Yeah, sure.
When he goes to reach for the door, I'm gonna very
Bang, bang, bang.
adamantly, like I'm gonna grab his arm and look at him, or try to turn him around and say, "You haven't even asked me what's happened."
I have not.
Don't you want to know what's going on? What happened? Why he's dead?
Is that because he was killed by monsters?
No, he's dead because somebody in our party lacked the need I say courage or
For those of you that didn't hear it home, he whispered, I bet this is about me.
Go ahead. It's not courage.
Testicular fortitude, I believe is the term you're looking for.
No, not even that. Was very negligent and did not use his ability to help Botticello, who is the only person that has medical expertise in our group.
the most fit would be Professor Wentworth. Are you saying he's in some way responsible for what happened to Mr. Botticello?
Maybe not directly responsible, but he is responsible for his death.
Perhaps you should tell me more.
There were several opportunities for him to go and assist Botticello and help him and possibly heal him to the point where he would be able to get out of the way, and he did not. He chose to go and bust down my door and also stay within the stairwell where he was safe when Captain Wilkerson and I were, and Byrne and Botticello were fighting these things up in the hallway. He stayed down in the stairwell. Then when he came up, he decided instead of helping Botticello, he decided to kick in my door to my room.
While you weren't in it?
Exactly.
So he was not attempting to wake you?
No.
No.
I was attempting to stop him going in my room because I felt he was going for some of the relics that I have stored there
Of course.
that are not supposed to be in his possession. I feel like it's a repeat of what happened to that poor girl. It's just getting worse.
To be clear, we named this episode Machiavelli, right?
What do you propose we say or do to Professor Wentworth?
I have no proposition at this time. I'm not a worldly person. I believe that we need to discuss it as a group without Wentworth around. He's, to me, it seems like this magic has got a hold of him and he's using it for the betterment of himself, not for the group. He used it against that girl when there clearly could have been other means.
Right.
You
Well,
were there, you saw him.
I saw that. I did not see this. So, before you take any action, would you mind if I discussed it individually with the others?
That's why I'm bringing this to you.
I won't say anything to Wentworth, but I will
I appreciate that. I'm just trying to.
ask Mr. Byrne and the captain. what
I
their
feel
account is.
that more lives are in danger and our group is in danger because Wentworth is taking things into his own hands.
Well, clearly things are getting worse. So I kind of pointedly looked at the body. And before I open the door, and actually I'm going to say that we should take him up to the deck. Say, also handling the dead is a corrupting influence, and so just be careful the next couple of weeks. Be mindful of your spiritual nature.
Maybe I should start meditating as well. I don't know anything about that Ouija stuff you guys do, but I'm willing to.
Do you believe in a God?
Of course I do.
Then just say your prayers.
Every night.
Our souls are at risk. Eat your vitamins.
Be beautiful team.
Flintstones.
Yes, then I'll ask you to help me carry the body out into the.
Alright.
I'd also explain that what I was chanting, so at some point you said you were going to ask, it's the name of one of the Buddhas, and I'm helping move his spirit onto the next step.
For context, when you walk out, I'm bandaged and heavily bleeding.
Are you still bleeding?
Yeah, like I was just attacked.
Actually, if you
So,
you
If he's sitting
Hold
in the
on.
hallway, I just kind of nudge him over so he knows.
Jeez.
no, if you've done first aid, you're not actively bleeding.
Well, blood stains then.
Yes.
Whatever.
I thought you were
Yeah,
doing
you're-
dissections.
You're moving
I'm going
bodies
to
around
later.
and stuff.
No, I'm not moving anything.
So you're just hanging out in the hallway?
Well, yeah, like they're moving everything.
All right.
I have sent him to like go hang up or strap up or whatever the hell you're gonna do.
All right. So as we pass in the hallway, I'll just say, "Professor, are you well?
Now that everything's over with, yes.
Let me know if you need anything."
Some morphine?
Thought you had that.
Sadly, no.
I have some opium.
No, thank you.
Actually, opium in 1925, not that.
Yes, but chasing the white dragon is still a very familiar term at this time.
So, are you bringing the body out?
Up to the deck, up to the top.
The current captain, the new captain, stops you and says, "We'll do that in the morning." It's not. There's superstition about doing this at night.
Are there any men aboard who are Catholics of the Catholic faith?
I don't know. I'll have to check.
Would you please?
Absolutely.
And ask if they would be willing to. I know something of the Catholic death ritual, but not entirely.
We have our own here at sea, and I would prefer to perform that as the captain.
Very well. Has anyone spoke of cremation versus burial at sea? I don't imagine you'd want an open fire on your boat.
We will be fine with that.
Fine with what?
We'll be fine with burning the other bodies on the boat.
I would prefer this one be placed in the sea. His
Absolutely.
practice. Thank you. In the meantime, I would like it placed in a safe spot outside of one of our cabins, please.
I was going to put it back in his room.
Very well. So
then a couple of his men take the body from you, and they're clearly reverent with it, handling it nicely and taking it to the other room.
I don't trust anything, so she's going to be watched. I'll watch over the body.
Okay. Especially since you don't have a lock on your door anymore.
Yeah, since I don't have a lock on my door anymore.
So do you pull the
no problem.
You pull your cuddle buddy trunk in there?
Yes.
Okay. So Miss McCrea kind of drags her trunk, not drags, she carries the trunk down the short hallway to Botticello's room, and she goes to shut the door. Is anyone stopping her?
I'm hoping.
The rest of you head to bed, I assume?
Well, I mean, if it's not time to do the experiments on the body,
No.
tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, all the three of
Who
you
has the
are.
mask?
You want to drain?
You do.
Yeah.
The five of you are exhausted. I mean, it literally is. It was like 1 a.m. when it started. It's probably 2:30 by now.
I'd like to point out that I'm not actually exhausted.
Okay. Everybody but Sleeping Beauty.
I'm just saying.
Everybody but Sleeping Beauty is probably exhausted.
Before everyone retires, I'll actually go to the captain's room.
Okay.
As everyone's bedded down and in their rooms, so you have your own private berth, right?
And I'm gonna
knock on the door.
put Frogman up by his feet, and then I'm gonna head up to the captain's room because I want a final check as everybody's going to sleep.
Okay. So yeah, you already put the body in the storage room. It's already set. Head towards the captain's room. He's still down there, he's watching over his men, and they were coming back there to check in as they finish searching the ship. So you're gonna talk to him there, or do you want to go up private?
No, we'll talk to them then.
Okay. What can I do for you, Captain?
How is everything?
We're down a few men, and the rest of the men are startled and/or.
Since we sent people
No.
out?
No. I mean, in the night overall, we're down a few men.
Yes.
We've
Yes,
lost
of
our
course.
captain.
We are down a man as well.
Yes. Most of the men are shaken at least a little, if not more. I've had to put one to bed with the shakes. As you can understand, this is not something we deal with ever. You folks have seemingly dealt with this a lot better than we have.
We are worse for wear, whether it is apparent or not. Will it be a problem burning the bodies? I don't want to put them in the sea.
The four creatures?
Yes.
Those
and Mr. Botticello.
Was under the impression from Mr. Weld that Mr. Botticello would not be burned.
I'll have to speak with Mr. Weld.
Whatever your group decides to do with it. A proper burial at sea is available as well. And I'm waiting on one more group that should be back any minute, and it looks like the ship is clear.
I'll wait then.
Okay. A few more minutes come by. Is everybody else kind of gone to sleep?
I'll be barricading my door.
Okay. Mr. Byrne, do you want to? Yes, you're going to sleep?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
I heard him starting.
No, it's okay. So you wait a couple more minutes, and the two youngish crew, they're probably 18, 19, they come in. They're not laughing, but they seem more relaxed. They say, Captain, we're last to check in, and everything's fine. A little bit of our food storage is a little lower than we expected, but probably that was the week of the extra person eating out of it. But other than that, nothing else out of the ordinary. So, and then you're relieved, and they go back towards the crew deck.
Can I hang out a couple minutes? I just kind of want to get a sound from the ship.
Okay.
Wait for whatever weird comes out of the dark.
Do you let the captain kind of leave? Or okay. Oh, that'll be on, Captain. I'm gonna head up to the bridge and kind of figure out what to do next with our crew. He heads that way, and you get the feel. Did you spend any time on ship during the war? Okay. So you get that feel again. This is a smaller ship than you're probably used to. I mean, it's a transport. It's not huge. So the waves are a little bit different, but you that sense, that equilibrium of the ocean again. You can almost smell the salt again, like it's gonna lightly rain. You don't hear any thunder like you did last time. And that's probably about the time that Mr. Weld comes back out of this room and heads down towards you. But everything seems calm again. Or Mr. Weld?
So something happened that I missed out on.
Quite.
What was it?
Things aboard. Mr. Botticello is no more. He was killed by one of them. Mr. Byrne, Miss McCrea, and the professor have all felled these things. Mr. Wentworth wants to dissect one of them, I'm sure. Mr. Byrne wants to investigate them more deeply, which I can understand. To be perfectly honest, well, they frightened the shit out of me.
I saw them only in passing. Fish people, it looked like.
Frogs, amphibians, perhaps?
How did Botticello go?
Attempting to slay that which is of the underworldly. He put up more of a fight than I'd anticipated he would.
And Byrne, McCrea, Wentworth, what about their conduct during the battle?
They contributed each to their ability, some more than others. It's obvious that our group is not entirely based on those who have seen combat.
Of course. Do you feel that any did not live up to expectation?
Not as such. I mean, no one failed in supporting us. It wasn't as though anyone ran as such. It wasn't as though anyone pushed someone else into the hands of one of these things.
Right. Of course, I wasn't there myself. And in the faint light, you can kind of see that he looks, not even trying to hide, looks extremely guilty. But we'll leave it at that.
Well, we can't all be everywhere. There was the stowaway, we followed him, and then there was a body, and there were drops of blood, a trail. We followed them. The trail then split.
So the sole responsible has been taken care of.
Oh, yes.
And the ship is as safe as it can be under the circumstances.
As I understand it, I am wanting to prepare a pyre to burn all of the bodies in question, including Botticello's, as I don't know what will spring from him after being eviscerated by those things.
Spring from him?
Things sprang from the fog in my mother London. I don't expect human flesh to be any different, no matter what he says his fate was.
I feel like that was a different thing entirely. If someone was killed by a lion, they did not turn into a lion. With Botticello, I would say, if it were me, under any circumstances, burn the body. I have no connection to this shell. But for the Papists, they have a belief in the resurrection of the dead and the incorruptibility of the form. For him to be burned would be a sacrilege done in his memory at the highest order. I feel that he should be buried at sea in the tradition of everyone who dies at sea, of these sailors, of these men of the ocean.
Here's my argument against that. If the faith does have the power that you say, and it is the clinging and the energy that you invest in that faith that carries one on, his faith in those dark things that he was trying to eradicate, including us lowly heretic, was sufficient enough that should something untoward be in the works to befall him, his faith was strong enough to manifest that. I'm sure.
It's not an issue of having power, it's an issue of doing right by a fallen soldier. I feel ardently that we must respect what his wishes would have been. This is what his faith, which he was an ardent worshipper of, told him to do. And if there's anything vile to be attacking us from the depths, doesn't matter. It will come for us regardless. There's nothing stopping them from climbing aboard if that is how they got aboard in the first place.
It's my understanding that that is how they got aboard. Plus, I rebound one of the books.
Mm-hmm.
The skin that it was bound in originally was a type of leather, a type of skin that I have never seen before.
Right.
It was something unnatural. I dropped that skin into the ocean. That skin is there. These creatures came from there. And as much as it pains me to suggest that perhaps it might be a disservice, the suggestion of putting him in with those items, I would not want to have to face Mr. Botticello again and actively seek to put him down if there were an alternative. I see your point, and I do understand about Fallen Warrior, and I would gladly listen to the opinions of others. If a funeral were to be the correct way to go and a burial at sea were to be what everyone thought was in the best interest, I would not stand against it. But to be perfectly honest, Weldy, I'm afraid. I'm scared. These things are not anything I've seen before.
I just don't feel his body should be treated like those the monsters he brought. In any event, we'll bring it.
And that is the best argument you could make.
We'll bring it before the group and see how they feel. One last question. It is unavoidable. Perhaps you grasped at what I was reaching around earlier, but Miss McCrea feels that Wentworth, through negligence perhaps, through willful negligence, may have been somewhat responsible for Botticello. So, do you agree with that, yes or no? Or
he took his brunt of he did not walk out of this clean.
I saw the wounds.
Perhaps we need to put that to him and see what he says. I don't think he was willfully negligent. It wasn't. I've seen men run in combat.
Mm.
I've seen those that would fake their own injury to avoid fighting. I don't think it was either of those. If there were more nefarious methods or measures within the man, I think confronting him about it directly would be the best way to go. You will, for but a briefest instant, see his true colors before he puts his argument out.
What I fear, though, is if we present it to him as Miss McCrea says this, then you'll be making an enemy of Miss McCrea.
Oh, I think
So
I think she's already his enemy.
That's true. One alternate suggestion would be, I've known him for many years. I was not there, so I cannot form an opinion one way or another unless a preponderance of opinion or evidence should fall on one side. But I could address him separately and say, someone has said.
I would first ask for his opinion on the events. Ask him what happened.
Right.
And in his retelling, he would give you much. Then I would suggest saying, well, there might have been a suggestion that your actions might not have been as an official Botticello's. To be perfectly honest, I was a little busy.
Mm-hmm. That is wise, and I'll speak to Byrne as well and see what he says. I know that, again, I did not have eyes, so I do not know what happened.
Weldy, were you okay? Were you detained?
When I was in the Orient, I learned specific mysteries that allows my body to operate at peak efficiency. So at any given moment, I'm either 100% awake or 100% asleep. And I feel in this instance, that efficiency betrayed.
So you do not in any way need assistance nor feel yourself compromised at any level? I merely ask for
I feel like even being 100% awake or asleep, I should have heard what seemed like numerous bouts of rifle fire in a clanging tin can, but
Then don't.
the body's a powerful instrument.
Then don't feel guilty in the least. We did what we did, and with minimal casualties. And regardless, it was a victory. It could have been much worse.
I suppose. Well, good night, Captain. Get some sleep if you can.
You as well, Welding. And I go in and I check on everyone's door.
They're all locked.
All locked.
Except for Miss McCrea's, which is blasted open.
Anyone in her room?
Nope. Nothing is in her room.
I checked his place. I'm gonna check Botticello's.
It's locked.
It's locked.
You saw Miss McCrea take the...
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like, well,
No,
she was wandering around and all of a sudden...
Miss
she's locked.
McCrea
Okay.
moved her chest into Botticello's room. She probably mumbled something about watching over him that night.
I will go to bed, lock and barricade my door, and sleep with a full rifle and trench knife.
I
Or a
assume
full
we're all
shotgun and...
I assume we're all sleeping with weapons close at hand.
Yeah. The night goes by uneventfully. No, the rest of the night does go by uneventfully. We are going to speed this up just a little bit. The bodies are burned the next day, not Botticello's, the four of them. They're burned, and then the captain readjusts the ashes and burns them again.
Burn it until it's dead.
A lot of his crew is on deck watching them burn. Like, they're serious about whatever that was not coming back. You guys all discuss among yourselves, and I know I'm taking away a little bit of roleplay, but I want to move this along. We've been 4 weeks on a boat in episode-wise. I don't want to keep us on the boat too long. You guys finally decide to build a quick casket, as is right for Catholicism and burial at sea.
Can I get a quick show of hands who wants a burial at sea versus burning Botticello? Burial at sea would be 3.
Ms.
Don't-
McCrea,
don't
Mr.
look at
Weld, and Mr. Byrne.
I didn't have to test for sanity when he died. I
Well,
really
that's...
do.
Yeah.
You abstained.
Nice.
And actually, you ask everyone. There's a
So that
clear
should be his answer.
there's a clear lack of giving a crap coming from the professor.
He's just like, what should we do? Just squeeze him off the deck. I don't care.
Well, no, if you're like, what should we do? I'm just like, I don't know.
Can we, without doing a psychology, depending on how this, do we view this as you being cavalier about?
No.
Death
I'm
in
not
general?
like, woo, he died.
No.
Yes.
Is it more of an apathy towards death itself, or more of a, because it's no secret, I think, that you weren't getting along with Botticello?
Yeah, like we were combative.
So is it more of a personal thing?
Yeah.
I
It's not like, woo, people died. Yes.
Yeah, no.
I think it should be like the same type of apathy you had toward the girl and that whole situation.
No, I just want to see how he's
No, that was logical.
characterizing it.
Okay, so terribly sorry. Carry on. A casket is made.
You guys make a casket. That rest of that day goes by. It is very somber on the ship. Like, there's no laughter. Mr. Byrne and Captain Wilkerson, you kind of show up just briefly to see if there's maybe a card game to kind of pass that time. And there's one guy sitting playing solitaire, and he sees you, and like you can see from his eyes, he doesn't want company. He wants his time to himself. So that's fair. You've been in this situation. The rest of that day goes by. Professor Wentworth, you spend the day in your room. So I kept blowing you off.
Well, no, like I'm researching.
I know. I kept blowing you off about that. So welcome to what we're going to do, because I finally figured it out.
Okay.
So you want to your intent is to research and replicate that tiara.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to need you to do is roll Cthulhu Mythos. And these rolls are going to represent the first week, and this last day. You've spent probably 8 days on this.
Were you having me assist on this or not?
One.
Okay. Do you want? Are you having him assist with you?
Because I'd offered to earlier.
Oh yeah, because you knew about it.
Okay. You can also
Yeah. Because
roll.
you're just kind of like so.
This mythos?
Yes.
No, I miss it.
Both you can roll an occult at half of whatever you normally have.
I passed.
Right, that's fine. That was your Cthulhu. Now roll your occult at half of what you normally would have.
Fail.
Okay. And finally, roll either geology, archaeology, or chemistry, whichever's higher.
Pass.
Figured that.
Nope.
And then roll the second of whatever of those three is next highest.
Minor rolls.
Over there.
Geology, archaeology, or chemistry.
Fail.
Fail.
Okay. So you guys spent 8 days really working on this. The last day is really kind of somber, like I said. You feel like you can successfully replicate it if you can get enough iron to make it and a place to smelt it. However, I need you both to make sanity checks.
That passes.
Fail. Wow.
George, roll a d6. Jason, roll 2d6. This is what you lose.
2.
What you're working with here is alien and feels very wrong. In your sane mind,
It's magic.
taking that next step is very, very much an alien idea, and your mind doesn't like it at all.
Right.
So I have a question. So this has been like 8 days after I told Weld.
No.
It was one day
Before
after.
that.
This was
They were working a week, and then there was the attack, and then the next day they're working to finish it up.
Jason
So as
said.
far as you know, he's sequestered with me talking.
Jason said, "I get on the boat. I'm going to study this," and that's what he's been planning to do. And he
Okay.
mentioned it to you guys the
Okay.
first time you learned it.
Right.
Oh,
So-
I'm sorry. There was the attack. The next day there was the funeral and for Botticello and the burning, and then the rest of that day into the wee hours
Yeah.
is this.
Oh,
Okay.
and I do want to focus just a little bit on
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
funeral thing. Was there a Catholic crewman that could do?
There were
some
like
prayers?
4 Catholic crewmen. None of them spoke English, unfortunately.
As long as they speak Latin, I don't care.
Yeah.
So if they do some prayers and stuff around this.
Yeah, and they more or less assist the current captain. It's clear that they're funneling it towards him, and
Right.
there's a clear like burial at sea ritual they do anyway,
Mhm.
and they kind of add some Catholic ritual on top of that.
Right.
It seems fitting, and there's some peace that comes from that, but not enough to make up for the night before.
I pay attention to it, and I'm involve myself as respectful, and I'll also say some chants.
Do you speak
Afterwards.
Latin?
No, but I'm familiar with my character being, very into religion. Would and having grown up somewhat around Catholics in Boston,
Yeah.
would be somewhat familiar with this.
My character is Catholic.
Oh yeah, you
So
you probably know enough
say
Latin
this works.
to go. Oh yeah,
Close
yeah.
enough.
No, I've seen that one before
I have
too.
some
Yeah.
English translations of Latin death prayers if you'd like them.
Oh George, you did research and everything. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
So the ninth day on boat, you're 5 days away from the coast or from Egypt. What would you guys like to do?
I'll be working on the body.
On the what? On the body. Okay. And what were you gonna do?
Talk to Byrne privately.
I want to be experimenting with the monster corpses and the spearheads to see if they're more efficient than our knives.
Yeah, I'm here to locate organs and check for weak points and
Johnny,
all that. It's fine.
roll me a percentile, and then make sure it's over your spear, which I believe is base 25.
No. I'm like,
Right.
I'm like, okay, stab it with a knife. It's that hard. Stab it with the.
Right, but you're going to test out the thing to make sure it strikes right. So you're gonna have to strike hard, and you're gonna have to use it like an actual spear.
You pretend you have some kind of technique.
Against the dead and
Yeah.
moving.
But
objects.
still,
Okay.
did you get above what 25?
No, 3 times 76.
Okay, good. Then roll a d20, d10, and add that to your base spear. The point was you're going.
training.
You're like without thinking about it, you're gonna like stab at it and like test it and make sure it works. And
I was going to turn the spearheads into daggers if they were proven effective.
okay.
Right, but the idea being is it's like
So
on that
how
food
long
TV
is the
show
plan
that we
for
saw where the idiot ordered the Philly cheese sandwich and then took a bite right out of the middle. Like if you're going to take the spear and throw it sideways at the thing versus I'm actually going to try to use it like a spear. And go, oh, I'm learning
You
something.
already told me I could work the metal.
Well, when you're ready to work the metal, maybe, but
Well, no, but like I could make you a saber, Captain Break Chairs.
I know better with swords.
The question is, can you make him a chair?
Right, you could make it into brass knuckles.
Bullets, make it into brass knuckles. That'd be
Would you
fun.
be more comfortable if I made it into a small chair that you could fight people with?
Yes.
A chair that you can hang from your belt. Nice.
Honestly, yeah, I'm better with cudgels than I am with bladed weapons at this point.
So roll that D10 and add it to 25.
1,
Roll it again, because that's I'm not going to accept that.
3.
Okay, there you go. So now you have a
So I have
28 in
28
spear.
in spears.
Yeah.
Um,
And the
I'm
spear
out of
does.
melee slots.
do they make folding cudgels? Go ahead.
The spear does a D8 plus 1.
Okay.
If you choose to use it.
Oh, the sock full
No,
of quarters.
no. I'll make it a camp chair. That way he can keep it in his pocket as a concealed weapon.
Okay, so
That's
what were you
ridiculous.
saying, Shirley?
I wanted to know what the time frame was for this.
They're probably going to spend most of the day, I assume, poking at the body and.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
gonna
so we've
like make a
got-
record
I'm like
later.
3 hours.
I'm looking for but you said that okay. I'm looking for like relevance to the funeral.
The funeral. This is the day after.
The day after.
I show up for the funeral. That's what you're asking.
What do you do the day of the funeral?
Well, the day after the funeral, I spend in my room by myself. Like I'm getting angry at what's going on. I'm getting angry at Wentworth's reluctance to help, and then I'm like my investigator, all that stuff that I learned from the Sherlock Holmes book and stuff. My like investigative side starts kicking in, and I'm wondering what's going on and why he's starting to act this way, and who has all the books and where are they?
You and Mr. Byrne.
You have all that stuff.
I'd check in with you at some point during the day and say, I talked to the captain, I'm going to talk to Byrne, and then I'll talk to you.
Okay. And
Say no that, please.
and I'm like, okay, and whatever books that are in English that I can read, I'm probably going to try.
What
to
did we
start
decide you guys had? Because I didn't write that down.
Narcotic manuscripts. There's at least one in English.
Africa's Dark Sex, Life is
Right, who has what though? That's the question.
She has them all.
I have the Harvard book.
I thought Mr. Byrne had half of them because he read one.
I think you borrowed it from her or
Yeah,
something.
we didn't divide everything up.
Yeah, she is the librarian at this point.
Okay.
People of the Fate, People of the Monolith.
Whatever one's from Harvard, I can't remember which one it was. I have
Because
that.
right
Dark
now,
African
like,
sex.
she's fed up. Nobody's really doing anything, and Wentworth is going off the deep end.
You can either read the Narcotic Manuscripts, selections of. I'm sorry, no, not that one. People of the Monolith or Life is a God.
One of those makes you really crazy, but I'm working with it.
I'll do Life is a God.
Okay.
Because that makes
Roll
me think
a D6.
that that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to become a God.
Paranoid fantasy bunch.
You lose 4.
Is Life is a God the bad one?
No.
Yes. Okay, so
There's the one that you
So
get to
what
roll
do
the
I learn?
D10. I think it's the one he got, actually.
Because I'm trying to find out and learn what what he's learned and why he would act the way that
I'm
he's
going to
acting.
read again this
Okay.
excerpt from Life is a God because the only person that heard it last time was Mr. Botticello.
And you're trying to figure out his mindset, where he is, and when you should put that mask on.
Go ahead.
It's mine.
Its angles were magnificent and most strange. By their hideous beauty, I was enraptured and enthralled. I thought myself of the daylight fools who had judged the housing of this room as mistaken. I laughed for the glory they miss. When the 6 lights lit and the great word said, then he came in all the grace and splendor of the higher planes, and I longed to sever my veins so that my life might flow into his being and make part of me a god.
He doesn't look suicidal.
Point of order, I have not read this book.
Your Cthulhu mythos goes up by 4.
Still describes you to a T. So
It's right here under Cthulhu mythos.
There's also at the top, too, underneath
We'll get there first, right there. 4. Okay. Now you're gonna black out 99, 98, 97, 96. You can never get those back.
This is our first Cthulhu mythos.
yeah.
Then
Oh, now you're really a member of the group.
what's 99 minus 4?
95.
So write 95 there.
That's the sound of your sanity.
Yeah, permanently.
Your sanity has left you. The book itself is a lot of prose and poems.
Which she loves.
It's written by one person.
Yeah.
It's a crazy dude. No good to be reading crazy dude thoughts, but now you've gotten a kind of a view of that.
Crazy dude prose.
A window into the house of insanity.
So that's what you spend your day doing, because that's going to take probably the rest of the week of you actually spending
Yeah,
time.
I mean, I'm going to go from English to book, English
Well,
to book.
to really study them and really get it, you're going to have to do one at a time. It takes about a week.
No, that's fine.
So,
You also need other languages.
And I'm not going to tell anybody
that's
that I'm
fine.
reading.
Captain Wilkerson.
That's well noticed.
Oh, no, you won't.
I am finding the whatever, the bridge, the lookout, the perch, I want to be able to see the front of the ship, the back of the ship. I am on guard. I want to know when something comes out of the water to get us.
Okay.
I'm praying to Heavenly Church, the Father above, the glory, the power of the day, the kingdom, the power, and the glory of God, that it's not Botticello climbing back over the deck.
So
I will say I told you so, but I will also be very sad.
You spend your time doing that. Are you doing that the rest of the week?
I would feel that it is my charge to make sure that the rest of our members make it to shore safely.
You almost the crew becomes so used to you doing it, they almost like give you a shift in the crow's nest, like watching. A guy is up there with you usually,
right?
But
because I'm not looking for land,
yeah,
I'm
mostly
not looking for ships. I'm all like perimeter.
It's fine.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Professor Wentworth, you're going to spend the week researching the body the rest of the week, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna identify organs, where they are, if it has any weak points.
Right.
I'm gonna skin it.
Okay.
Are you going to skin it, or are you going to have me take a?
I'll probably have you skin it. Yeah.
So when he skins it, does he notice that it looks like any of the books?
No. And
wait a minute.
Focus, guys. So, Mr. Weld, you're going to spend the week. You're going to talk to Mr. I know you want to talk to Mr.
Yeah, some
Byrne.
conversations I'm having. What I'm spending my day doing is meditating. What I'm actually doing is focusing on vibrations and trying to listen better, because that goes in so much trouble.
Okay. Sleeping. And Mr. Byrne, you're going to spend that first day kind of poking at the thing with the stick. What else are you going to do?
Probably work out my aggressions in some sort of boxing training regimen.
Okay. All right.
That's all good.
And that'll do us tonight for Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. You can check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. You can check out our website. You can buy our shirts over at /loot. You can go over to iTunes and give us a rating. We will talk to you real soon.
This has been a production of the Omega Nerds Network, the network where it's on.